What's going on, everybody? Back with another video. So, Hard Knocks was last night. The back half of this video, we're going to talk about Hard Knocks, my thoughts on that, and it was kind of fun to watch, actually. If you didn't know, NFC East is on Hard Knocks this year. It's an HBO show on HBO TV, actually. And it premiered at 9 o'clock last night. They'll be going through January 20th. So tune into that if you guys want to. That's a good show, and it tells you a lot about how the Commanders' week is and how their season has been this year. And it gives you an inside look on this team. And you don't get this opportunity very often. So that premiered last night. We're going to talk about that later in this video. But first, we're going to talk about Jaden Daniels, Noah Brown. Dan Quinn spoke to the media today. And some updates on those guys. So make sure you guys hit the like button on this video. Would really appreciate it if you guys just simply hit that like button on this video and then simply subscribe to this channel. Trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. I really can't do it without y'all. Trying to make that push. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So Dan Quinn spoke to the media. So let's get to this Jaden Daniels update and we'll go through his presser a little bit. So Quinn did say Jaden Daniels get a lot of reps in practice. He said they will reevaluate Jaden Daniels after Friday when he's had a full week of practice. First off, I want to say Marcus Mariota spoke to the media today. Not Jaden. Marcus Mariota spoke to the media today. And the NFL does a thing where the starting quarterback for the upcoming week speaks to the media on Wednesdays. And so the fact that Marcus was speaking, I'm not trying to say that Jaden's out for this game, but what's his name? JP Finley said earlier today, Marcus Mariota speaking to the media, and he said this does not mean Jaden's not going to play, but this is a pretty good sign to where they're leaning towards. So Marcus did speak to the media today. I wanted to give you guys that update because that kind of tells me what I need to know about this week. Jaden's probably not going to go, but I think the consensus here is they'll reevaluate on Friday, and then I think we're all thinking Friday, Jaden will be ruled out, and then week 15, Jaden will come back to the lineup. So, not yet cleared for contact, said Dan Quinn, but a lot of that depends on how he handles the next 3 days. So, if he's going out there and looks perfectly fine the next 3 days, maybe he'll be cleared for contact and maybe they'll go. But they're going to be extra cautious with him. I know that for a fact. So, Jaden Daniels may or may not go this week, leaning towards not going this week. I don't think he's going to go this week. So, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think he should play the rest of the year? Obviously, he is going to play the rest of the year whenever he's cleared. But do you think he should? Right? I know a lot of people have different opinions on that. I think he should. I don't think that's a question for me. But drop your comments in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this whole Jaden Daniels situation. So we should be getting him back soon. Dan Quinn said in the Denver game, Mike Samerstow and Josh Connolly, quote, elevated up. That's what I wanted to see, unquote. Quinn said he felt that was, quote, our best group game, but still with a loss. So it's hard to say it was the best game. A lot of reporters said it was the best looking game, and I came on the post game Sunday night. I said it was the best game probably played all year by this football team. So I've had that thought for, ever since that game was played. I think that's the best game we played all year. I think Mikey looked all right. I think Connerly was fine. Obviously, killed the Terry touchdown with the false start penalty. Or was that? I think that was a false start. Maybe a false start or holding. Josh Connerly had a penalty, took the play back. That was a big mistake. But I think Josh Connerly's coming into his own, and he's 21 years old. You got to remember that. So I think we have right tackle locked down for a few years, and then left tackle will be locked down for a while because you have Tunsil, and then Connerly's going to fill that spot when something happens to him. So I was really good to see. I was really glad to see those guys elevate. As Dan Quinn said, they elevated up. That's what he wanted to see. So there's that. Dan Quinn said he's optimistic about wide receiver Noah Brown this week. Quinn then knocked on the table and said, that's all I'm going to say about that. He said he's high on Noah Brown. He said pretty much in the green for Noah Brown to play. So Noah Brown's going to play. That varies on if there's any setbacks in practice, but as of right now, Noah Brown will play in the game on Sunday. Noah Brown will play versus the Vikings. So we're getting him back. That's another deep threat. That's another guy that can go deep and head top someone. So I guess that's a positive, but he's probably not going to be around next year. So I don't assume that he will be. Why would they count on him again? Right? He's just injury prone. So we'll see what he does the rest of this year. But I think it was funny that Quinn knocked on the table and said that's all I'm going to say about that, because he knows you can't say this stuff about Noah Brown. You can't. I mean, he could get injured at any moment. He could get injured walking into the facility. He could get injured sleeping. So we all know that. And so Dan Quinn knocked on the table and said, we'll see. But right now, Noah Brown's going to play this Sunday. So, and I don't think there's going to be any setbacks in practice. So there shouldn't be, right? Or else we have a major problem. Quinn also said there was a, quote, next play mindset from the team against the Broncos. He said, quote, there was a resilience for the next play. And I like that. We'll talk about Hard Knocks later, what was said, but it's just a very positive sign of where this team, the leadership of this team, and how, they really got their energy back on Sunday. And they were 3-8. So I like that from Dan Quinn. He also said the defense still has ways to go. He said the group is playing hard with fewer mistakes. He said he always felt the players were giving full effort, but they're now pairing that with more consistency, which is definitely very true. And we're all glad to see that. This defense has been a nightmare. And there's been questions about Dan Quinn, if he should be the defensive coordinator next year. Ben Standing asked him that, shout out to him, and he didn't deny it. So we'll see if he's ultimately the DC next year, but he's been doing a good job with this bunch this year. So we'll see what happens with him ultimately. Trey Burks also addressed the media. One thing that he said that I wanted to note, he said he's not thinking too much about the touchdown catch he made versus Denver. He's just ready to get back out there. And that's the mindset he should have. You can't, lean on that. He has to just go out there and get back and catch touchdowns every week, because he's still fighting for something, right? He's still fighting for a roster spot next year. He's still fighting to be on an NFL team. He's still fighting to prove himself why he was a first-round pick. So, by the way, to start the Hard Knocks conversation, Zach Ertz said that's why you were a first-round pick when Burks caught that ball. I thought that was funny. Mitch Tischler, last thing here about the practice today. He said, noteworthy that Jaden Daniels is practicing without a brace on his elbow. Seems unlikely when he does come back that he wouldn't have some sort of stabilizing measures on that left elbow. So I just thought that I would tell you guys that. I think that's an interesting point from Mitch Tischler. Shout out to him. So let's talk about Hard Knocks and some of the things that took place. So first, they really started off with the Commanders' practice, as they did with every team. Jaden ran 22 miles per hour in practice. Looked like after practice one day. He was running out there. He was saying some words in practice. I thought they were interesting. He said Dan Quinn, was telling him he was so glad to have Jaden back out there. Dan Quinn also said to Adam Peters during practice, he said, I'm so glad we have all these guys back. It feels like a real practice. And I think that really highlights that we haven't had anybody this year. We haven't had the full team practice at all this year, because Terry sat out the whole summer and Noah's been hurt. So I did want to note that, because people were saying, oh, we're a fraud team, we're not good. I mean, the whole offense has not played together the whole year. So there's that. Let's see. They did the Tavita Pritchard thing. They shouted him out. They did a bunch of nice things for him. I thought that was cool. They showed the Denver Broncos game from Sunday night. They showed that. First off, they showed Tony Dungy talking to Jaden Daniels. Tony Dungy said, you guys are going to be just fine. He said, seasons are tough like this. Like, this happens. This is the NFL. And Jaden was like, appreciate you, man, dapping him up and stuff at midfield before the game on Sunday night. So I thought that was interesting. And then they showed the Commanders game. It was a very close, intense game, and we almost won it. But that's the way it goes, man. You fight adversity, and this year has just been a bunch of adversity. So they showed the game from Sunday night. At least we were competent in that game, because I didn't want to watch my team get blown out on Hard Knocks. So on my Tuesday evening to watch that. So overall, they just really highlighted where this team's at. Season's not going the way they wanted it to. Dan Quinn was in the locker room after the game. He said, we lost tonight, but we're not lost anymore. And that might be the most encouraging words I've ever heard from Dan Quinn. He said after the game, we lost tonight, but we're not lost anymore. They got their energy back. They have their dogs back. They have their pride back. And I think that's what Dan Quinn meant. So that was Hard Knocks. Next Tuesday, we'll recap that as well. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care. Have a great one. Hail to the Commanders. As always, good game tomorrow. Cowboys, Lions. I'll be seated for that. But I'll see you with more content before that game even takes place. So, see you guys tomorrow. Hail to the Commanders as always. Peace.